Hey everybody, just got done watching 2006 Bobby, starring Emilio Estevez, Demi Moore, Martin Sheen, Helen Hunt, Anthony Hopkins, Harry Belafonte, Ashton Kutcher, Shia LaBeouf, Lawrence Fishburne, Christian Slater, William H. Macy. I could go on and on and on. Seriously, the cast in this just is insane, which is one of the problems with it, but I'll get back to that in a minute. So basically, this is an hour and 50 minutes long, and it tells the tale. It's a group of vignettes. It's based around the California presidential primary elections, and where Senator Robert Kennedy went in 1968 when he went to the Ambassador Hotel in California, and his assassination there. And basically, instead of doing what some films would do and focusing on the assassin or Robert Kennedy's last hours, etc., it focuses. It's a group of vignettes on completely different people that kind of are involved with. They're either at the hotel for some reason or the other. So, like with Elijah Wood's character, he's there to marry a girl so that he doesn't have to go to Vietnam. There's I wasn't clear on. I think Anthony Hopkins' character actually worked at the hotel, but he was playing chess a lot with Harry Belafonte, so I wasn't quite clear on that relationship. But then you've got, say, Joshua Jackson, who's part of the kind of campaign trail. Shia LaBeouf and I don't remember the other guy that's with him. They were part of the people that are supposed to go out and knock on doors and get vote, encourage people to vote for Kennedy, etc. So it's a group of about 22, I think they say, 22 people whose lives are changed by the end, kind of assassination of Kennedy. And, this is the kind of film that, you kind of see as Oscar bait. You feel like it's kind of doing that. But the other thing is it kind of brings up for me, as a Brit, it has a very different impact on me as I can imagine, what I can imagine it having on somebody born and bred in America. Because something that I have always loved about, regardless of some ignorance and stuff like that, I've always loved the American patriotism. I wish in England we had the same, except for sports events. I wish we had that same. I'm proud to be British, but we don't, as a country, we do not have that. So something like. I've always been fascinated in the, assassinations of the Kennedys and the promise they had. And what you feel from this film is, because it focuses on numerous issues of that time, you really get the feel for the hope and promise for blacks and Mexicans and women and anybody of any creed and religion and stuff, the hope that they had for being recognised and seen as equals. And it's and then you feel it when Kennedy is assassinated, much like his brother 5 years previous. You really feel that absolute despair in that, of that lost hope, primarily seen through I think the character's name is Dwayne, who is a coloured man who is picked by Kennedy to be the next, should he be elected as president, to be the next, Secretary of Transportation or something. And when Kennedy's assassinated, you see Dwayne just absolutely break down, and it's really heart-wrenching. But that is something that I've always loved, and I guess that's what can kind of separate an audience, though, who's not necessarily me, because I don't feel that history, because that's not part of my history. I feel like, say, I mean, that's why I think something like an anomaly, like when Princess Diana died, I think that's why the country, why England came together so much, because that was not necessarily the same, but there was this sense of hope and change and new, you know, kind of future kind of thing. But my point is that obviously, you know, it's something that I can imagine being a lot more impactful on an American than it is necessarily on me. That does not mean that it doesn't have an effect on me, that it does not tear at my heartstrings, or, I mean, my God, I mean, Simon and Garfunkel's Sound of Silence always gets to me, haunts me anyway, but the version they've got at the end, just before Kennedy's assassinated, is this very acoustic, no drums, it's just acoustic guitar accompanying Simon and Garfunkel, and it's even more haunting. And when you know what's coming, you do feel that kind of tension, and you get that cold chill running down your back. But I'm kind of moving away from my point, but I just wanted to, the thing is with a film like this is it does play on your heartstrings. It is an emotional journey, but I feel, because it's trying to tell so many stories of all these very different people, in a very different, you know, time. I mean, we're talking 1968, so, you know, Vietnam War, all that stuff that's going on. Because it's trying to tell all their stories, I don't feel as invested in the characters. I'm not saying I don't, but like I say, I mean, I felt for Anthony Hopkins' character, but I wasn't completely clear on his story. And I just, as I've said in many of the reviews before this, I love character development. I want to feel attached to those characters. If something's going to happen to them, I want to feel connected to them. Now, this mainly focuses on the workers in the kitchen, and showing the tension between, say, the Latino and coloured people, and, you know, their white masters, if you will. I know that's not a politically correct term, but that is how you're made to see them, because that's essentially how it was back then. And it mainly focuses on them, and I do feel connected to the kitchen crew, and I realise that the main reason for that focus is because this film was inspired, Emilio Estevez, who slightly stars in this, he actually wrote and directed this movie. So he was inspired by a photo he saw of one of the kitchen staff cradling Kennedy's shot body. And so I can kind of understand why he would then focus on that group. But there are so many other characters, like with Martin Sheen and Helen Hunt's characters, and this floundering kind of relationship where, you know, she's got depression and stuff, and he's trying to connect with her, or there's William H. Macy who's having an affair, and I'm getting completely confused, and some of them I have no idea who they are. And I'm not saying that having an encore cast is bad, but it just feels messy in this film, and everything's packed into 1 hour 50. The assassination of Bobby Kennedy is not until the end. So you're focusing and you're bouncing around between them quite a lot. But really, that is my only problem with this film. I've only seen this film once before, and the last time I watched it, I actually got quite bored through it. I got really frustrated with how confused I felt, that I felt no connection. But this time around, I enjoyed it a lot more. The pacing is, for the most part, excellent, except for, like I say, a few bits where it just feels off. There are some extra shots thrown in that I get are trying to add emotion, but I just don't feel necessary. Um, the pace is really good. I would love to. Emilio Estevez is an amazing director on this film, and for the most part, it's really well written. I do feel, like I say, it's seriously Oscar baiting. It feels like they're trying so hard, which is kind of funny when you think that kind of the Sheen slash Estevez have always been quite anti-establishment in a way. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I felt a lot more connected this time around. And I don't know if that's because I'm older now and can enjoy it more or what. I'm not quite clear. I saw this, I mean, it's only been out, what, 8 years? 7 years? So I've had it since it came out on DVD, and I only knew about it because of a number of the people in it that I really enjoy watching. So it kind of came up on their Facebook and stuff. So I only knew about it because of that. So I picked it up, and it might have been, maybe I was expecting more than I actually got. Maybe I was confused by the premise. Maybe I was confused and thought that it was supposed to focus on Bobby Kennedy and his path to the hotel. But the problem is that's the other thing, is that when, and you'll have to forgive me, my history is really shit. Ask me anything about John F. Kennedy and I will happily know it. I don't know the name of the guy that killed Bobby Kennedy, so I apologise. But when he turns up at the hotel and he just walks through the door and he just stands there, like, looking straight ahead, you're supposed to know who he is. And I mean, I knew who he was because I know what happens in the film. But there is that moment where you're just like, it would have been nice if they'd said something, or I don't know what, but just some proper introduction just would have been better. I don't know, but I felt that was a bit off kilter. But like I say, the direction is amazing because they don't try and put somebody that a double as Robert Kennedy. They have a load of interspersed kind of news clips, and that to make you feel a part of it, and that's then thrown in with some footage of the war and riots and peace and stuff like that. They have, obviously, at the very end, some shots from behind, but for the most part, a film called Bobby actually barely has Bobby Kennedy in it. So it's kind of ironic on that scale. But, like I say, if you like political, and this isn't even really political, it's, like I say, because they're a group of vignettes, it's, if you like stuff like from the 60s, like set in the 60s, and seen all those hardships and stories, and if you like vignettes and stuff, then I do highly recommend this. If you've seen stuff like, you know, obviously stuff like JFK and stuff like that, I also recommend this. And of course, if you're into all the conspiracies and stuff about the assassinations and whatnot, like I say, this doesn't focus on that as much, but it focuses on the people, and as a drama, it's really good. Don't expect much. It's something, don't expect to get connected to the characters, like I say. I know I keep saying that, but that was one of my main letdowns with this. But otherwise, it's beautifully shot, well acted, well scripted. I wouldn't necessarily give it the 4 out of 5 stars that everybody on the case has given them, but I would give it an 8 out of 10 because it is enjoyable and worth an evening watch for nearly 2 hours. So if you get a chance though, please do check out Bobby, and we'll be back tomorrow. So, but for now, this is Sketch signing out as always.